Thank you very much. I think we want to start. Can see Njoroge is here together with Jonathan, who has refused to talk to us. Njoroge, good evening. Yeah, you know, now they people join classes when they're traveling. So probably something is happening. Njoroge, good evening. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Irene, you can see your classmates, they are not able to talk.
Most of them, I
Wangoi.
know they're good.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. You know
No,
me,
I
I
can do
have
that
to stay
because
in the
now,
office so that I can do the class since if I'll be on the way, so I'll
no,
not
but
have reached until the class has ended. So I have to stay in the office until we finish.
you know, now that means that they're not a class. They're another
Yeah,
business,
sure.
so we don't need to keep them longer.
Mhm.
More so from my point of view.
Okay.
I call this class ethics. You should be seated somewhere concentrating fully, but of course now, or even online ethics. So with me is my colleague, Mr. Sam Munube, who is supporting from the IT department. Sam, you can say hi.
Hi, Sam. How are you?
Good evening to you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good,
Hi.
Irene.
Okay.
Yes, like that, we are still traveling, so I'm still in the meeting. I can catch you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You know, you're offering support. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we are together in this session. I hope it will be very interactive. Yeah.
It's okay. Thanks so much. Yeah, so Sam is basically supporting us from the IT department. But here I am. I believe that already we have the quorum, and of course, I will not wait for anyone because you have come here so that we plan within the time that is available for us. And I know you are coming from different backgrounds, some from the field of education, some from the field of hospitality, some from the medical field. But now we are all here together with the main aim of learning this short course called the Human Resource Management. And of course, we all understand why the human resource is so important in our workplaces. And of course, as you look at this, you remember that there are different kinds of resources that an organization relies on so that it can achieve its objectives. And among them is the human resource. So when we talk about the concept of human resource, we are basically looking at the people that help an organization to achieve its objectives. You know that for you to achieve the goals of an institution or organization so far, you may require different kinds of resources. Of course, I've mentioned we have the human, we have the financial, we have got the technological resource, we have got the natural, we have got the physical resources. So things like the physical ones, the financial ones, the technological ones are important. But of course, for you to be able to achieve your goal, it is important that you make good use of people, the people who will plan, who will operate, and even come up with innovations on how best these other resources can be utilized with the main goal of being what? Achieving the goals of the organization. So when you talk about the human resource management, you talk about the people within the organization, the people that manages the affairs of an organization. We are talking about the people that combines the different resources in different maybe proportions to ensure that the organization achieves its goals. So when we talk about the human resource, then what we are referring to here is basically a process. And of course, we are talking about a process that basically focuses on the management of people with the main aim of enhancing or ensuring that an organization achieves its goals. So this basically involves all those activities that revolves around managing people in a way that they can contribute to the goals of the organization. So we are talking about it being the process of recruiting, as you can see from your screens there, the process, of course, of developing. And of course, in development, you can bring in the issue of training because the staff may require some level of training, some level of capacity building so that they're able to perform their duties. So we talk of recruiting, that is basically bringing employees to the work, that is hiring them. Then we talk about the performance management. And of course, performance management here can be a very wide area because our main focus is around motivating and even doing what? Retaining staff. How do you measure the performance of staff? How can you ensure that the members of staff performs? Of course, we are talking about the issue of doing what? Motivating them. We're coming up with the motivational mechanisms that will ensure that the employees finds work very enjoyable, makes them appreciate the work that they are doing. We are talking about the issue of retaining them. How do you want to retain your employees? You know, many of the times that in the development sector where some of you may be coming from is that with the changes in the regulatory frameworks in other countries, some organizations are closing down, and therefore, as this happens, what happens here? Some of them decides to retire their employees. Some decides to do what? To sack some of them, but some are giving them what we call, I think they call it handshake. You are given a very good handshake to go home earlier before your retirement age reaches. So those are all about what managing what the performance of employees and even what employee relations. Employee relations basically talks about the way the employees and the employees relate. Of course, even as we ensure that there is compliance with the existing labor laws and labor regulations in the country. So we are saying in short that the human resource management is basically the whole process that involves the activities you can see on the screen there, so that you can ensure that both the individuals and the employees basically succeed. And of course, you know that there are many theories to this that can explain all around this one here. For example, we are talking about the classical theories of human resource management, the classical theories of maybe employee motivation. So we look at the entire spectrum of the process that involves ensuring that the workers themselves, together with the organization, all succeed for the good of the organization. So how can you motivate your staff in a way that will enhance their performance and ensure that the organization achieves its goal? How can you make the employees remain motivated in their work? So we are saying that it plays a very key role in ensuring that the working environment remains positive in fostering what we call the positive work environment, and also adapting to workplace changes and aligning the human capital with the business objectives for long-term success of the organization. So we are saying that human resource goes beyond just hiring and firing. It goes beyond just hiring and paying salaries. It goes beyond just paying salaries and motivating, but it's a whole process. So it's about how you can create the right positive work environment where the employees will feel motivated, will feel valued, will feel that they're supported, they are empowered to perform that which they are employed to do at the workplace. So in other words, we are saying that human resource management, of course, has evolved from time to time. And of course, currently it becomes a very key strategic function within our institutions, within our organizations, so that you ensure that the people working for an institution aligns well with the vision, probably the mission of the institution, not necessarily just doing what administration. You know, we have different between administration and also management. They're different. So we are saying that we are talking about providing what we call the strategic leadership. We are talking about developing talents within the institution. We are talking about fostering a culture that drives competitiveness and even innovation. That is why currently in some organization, we call human resource talent management. You're managing talents. You want to ensure that the employees present in the workplace are developed fully in terms of their abilities to help the organization achieve its objectives. In other words, even as I summarize, is that human resource plays a very key role in ensuring that the work environment remains one which can basically inspire comment, inspire support to the employees so that they can perform their best, they can give their best to the employer. So in other words, I think that it is a whole set of activities that will ensure that the right people are performing the right job. That is, once you hire, you assign tasks. Of course, you assign tasks based on maybe different areas of specializations, maybe based on the way labor is divided within the workplace. That is, we know that so and so should be doing work A, work B, and work C. That is division of labor. So we are saying that it ensures that you hire the right people for the right jobs. That is, as you recruit, are you able to apply what we call the scientific recruitment and selection, whereby you are very keen on the abilities of the employees to do their duties? So we are saying that an institution or organization can only achieve its objectives when the human resource within within it is well organized and well managed for the good of the organization. Hope we are still together up to that point. So we are saying that the human resource management basically involves having motivated employees, talented employees whose talents have been built over time, employees who are able to deliver and meet the needs of the organization. So in other words, we say that by the end of this session, therefore, as a class, we should be able to achieve some objectives, or rather we talk of the session objectives or the session learning outcomes, is that by the end of this session, therefore, we should be able to explain the concept of the human resource management, which of course is very, but the HRM basically involves the process of recruiting, training, motivating, and all the HR functions that revolves around the employees in any organization. Number two, you should be able to discuss and apply the legal framework in human resource. And three, be able to analyze and develop legal compliance strategies in HRM. Sorry, I failed to introduce my colleague who is also part of us. That is Madam Eunice Mugambi. She's part of us. Thank you very much, Madam, for joining us. Even as we continue, any question for me, please, up to that point? Any question for me? Any question for me? Irene, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Irene, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
And you can only hear me, is that right?
I can hear you.
Am I
Well.
loud?
Yes, you are.
Am I clear, Irene? Very good.
Yes,
Thank you very
you are.
much for that. Very good. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. So we are saying that by the end of this session, then we should be able to explain the concept of the human resource management, which of course I've said basically involves the strategic process of managing people within the organization so that they contribute effectively and productively to the achievement of the goals of the organization. And we are saying that in the previous slide is that this involves what we call the recruitment. We are talking about the training, that's the development of the staff, motivation, retention. Of course, at the same time, you are ensuring that we also comply with the existing labor laws within the country so that we can support what we call the positive work culture in our place. So the question that comes to my mind now is that we are looking at the concept of human resource management, and we are saying that it means the strategic approach to manage people in an organization so that we can maximize their performance, so that they can align with the goals of some functions. So there are key functions that every person in charge of the human resource should be able to perform. And the first one is what we are calling the recruitment and selection. We are talking about the recruitment and selection here. And what comes to my mind here is that at this stage, therefore, we are talking about HRM involving what? The attraction and hiring of the right people for the existing positions in our institutions. When you are able to attract and hire the right people, the question is, wherever you are, wherever you want to work in that workplace, in the various roles that you have since defined, so that we can ensure that there's effectiveness and there's productivity that is ensured within the working environment. Number two, we are talking about the role of training and development. Training and development. And here, our main focus is basically training and also developing the staff. That is in terms of their skill set. Yes. So you are looking at what are the skills that these employees need. So we're saying that you basically equip the employees with the skills and the opportunities that they may require to enable them to grow. So you need to ensure that the employees receives the necessary skills. They are imparted with the relevant skills that are required to enable them achieve their goals or maybe perform their work effectively. So we're talking about training and development. Train and then develop now. So development means basically doing what? Increasing the skill capacity of the employees. That is by organizing whether in-house or maybe outside the workplace. That is to ensure that the employee skills remain relevant to the changing times and changing conditions at the workplace. Number three, we are looking at what we call now the performance management. And of course, here we're talking about uchunguzi. Uchunguzi, that is basically what we call monitoring. Monitoring. You monitor the performance of an employee. That is, we are here now, where are we tomorrow? So you monitor. You carry out monitoring to ensure that the employees remain productive, remain competent enough. And of course, I didn't mention that even as you do the training and development here, we need to carry out what we call the TNA, the training needs analysis. You need to ensure that the employees' needs are identified so that based on those needs, you are able to come up with a training curriculum that will be able to meet the needs of the employees that you intend to train for any particular purpose. And of course, this is another course that you can do with Kemi, because when you look at the course called TUT, we train the participants on how to design the TNA tools, the TNA tool, that is the training needs assessment test or tool that can enable you collect data to identify some of the gaps that the employees may be wanting to do to learn more about. Then we talk of number next is compensation and benefits. Like I mentioned earlier, that because of the changes in the government of Japan, in the government of the USA, there's this issue with the funding being cut, or rather the organizations funded by the US aid are really closing down shop. So they are giving what they call compensation. They can give you a handshake, which of course is equivalent to 1 year's salary, and then you go home, and then you take your pension and go with it the way it is. Or that is called compensation. Compensating staff. That is when they exit employment, or when the employees are injured in the process of carrying out their duties. In such a case, they need to compensate them. They need to have benefits. That is benefits like, for example, we are talking about the competitive reward systems. That is piecemeal. You're talking about the issue of maybe based on the output. How much can you produce? Pay you based on output, so that you're able to basically motivate the employees. Then we talk about number next is employee relations. And employee relations here, we are talking about the tripartite party. That is the party which involves the employer, employee, and the trade unions, whereby you ensure that the relationship between those parties remain very cordial for the good of the organization. Because when they can't relate well, then probably this may result into maybe some conflicts. That is what we call now the conflict within the workplace. That is called dispute which may need to be resolved. So to avoid this, there's need to ensure that the employee relations within the workplace is very good, so that no member takes other member to court because of maybe breach of the employment contract or the contract of employment, whichever it is. And finally, we are talking about compliance with the labor laws. That is, it is important that everyone complies with the law. You need to comply with the law, but of course, standards you can conform to comply with the law. There's no bargaining over this, because the law governs how people live within any given workplace. So the employee or the labor laws are basically those laws that governs the employment relationship within the country. And of course, some of them that already you know is that in the workplace, you cannot employ anyone who is less than 18 years. That is, the age of majority must have been met for you to be able to employ. That's the labor law. A labor law that requires that every staff must have achieved the age of 18. That is basically the minimum age of employment. We talk about the minimum wage rate. We talk of many more things, working hours. These are all regulated in the labor laws within the country. Any question for me, please, at this juncture? Any question, please? Any question, please? Can I even see in the chat box if you are saying something, please? Let's not be quiet and I'm talking to myself. You're becoming unfair by not responding to me. A minute just to ensure that we respond. Nijue kama mkulas au niko peke yangu.
They're together.
We are together. We are following closely.
Hello, following
Festus, you're
up.
getting me? Eh?
Yes, I am getting you. I am following.
Very good. That's okay. That
I am
is now
together.
encouraging so far. It's good to
Hello.
note that we are together, because now I'm talking and you guys are not talking. So I wonder whether I'm alone or I'm with people. But it's okay. Thank you very much, Pastor, for that. Now I can now continue with confidence that you are with me and everyone
Thank you.
else. Thank you. Chat box, I can see. Yes, I can see some 2 messages here. Following, sir. Thank you, Monica and Jonathan. Thank you very much. So that is briefly on what we are looking at before. I hope my screen is visible. Let me just reset it again. Oh. Good. Thank you very much. I think now it's visible again. So having looked at that then, so we've said what human resource involves. And we are saying that in the modern workplaces, human resource management plays a very crucial role in ensuring that we adopt very well to the technological changes, even as we promote what we call diversity in the workplace. We promote inclusion, and also we enhance the overall success of the organization. So we are saying that in summary, human resource involves analyzing workforce needs, forecasting future requirements, and ensuring that the right talent is available. And number two, it involves focusing on creating a motivated workforce by improving the job satisfaction, so that we can ensure that the employees remain satisfied with their work. So we are saying that we're looking at the improvement of the job satisfaction. That is, employees need to be satisfied. You improve the level of maybe so that they're able to appreciate that the employer is a good one. And of course, you can ensure this probably by coming up with what we call the fair remuneration strategies. That is, when you are able to do what we call payment of competitive wages that you can get elsewhere. When you talk about the opportunities to grow, because some of you are in this class here, and this fee has been paid by the employer. So that is an opportunity to do what? To develop yourself and grow yourself. We are talking about being recognized. You know, there are places where you work, and nobody even recognizes your work. So it is important that as you practice HRM in your workplaces, you also appreciate employees who are making efforts in the support of the objectives of the goals of the organization. So you can come up with the very simple, just recognition awards. For example, just praising people, just giving some small gifts, just giving some small incentives. Those really are very motivational. They can make the employees do much more than you expected so far. Or even creating what we call the positive work environment, an environment which is not toxic, an environment that makes an employee feels respected, an environment that promotes what we call open communication, an environment that basically ensure that the conflicts that are reported are very few. That is why I talk about the issue of what? Dispute resolution, so that in case employees differ in any given area or in any given point, then there are ways in which you can address the issue of the dispute. Or of course, a dispute arises either between employees or between the employer and the employee. So in that case now, we need to come up with what we call the dispute handling procedures and mechanisms within the organization. And of course, one of them is ensuring that the process is very fair. The process is very fair because sometimes it is my boss that I have an issue with. So the question is, whom do I report my boss to? So there should be very clear ways. And of course, just in case that you are to be disciplined, who should be able to discipline you? Is it anybody? No. That's why we talk of the chain of command. That is, who do you report to first? So in case level 1 cannot work, you go to level 2. We talk of the appeal procedures, the procedures for appealing, just like in the judicial system. That is, when a case leaves the magistrate's court, for example, and the employees are not satisfied with the with the verdict of the judge. What happens now? They go to the next level. The next level, that is the Court of Appeal. And of course, in that case now, the Court of Appeal will hear the case and probably also give a verdict. They will be able to make a ruling, in short. Once they make the ruling, then then in the case you're not satisfied, you can now go to the apex court, whereby you're able to report the case and be able to get to be supported. in terms of now the last option that you have. So we're talking about focusing on creating a motivated workforce by improving the job satisfaction through such things as what? As fair remuneration, involving the employees in decision making, ensuring that the job security. You know, for a long time I used to wonder, if you look at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you wonder that why is it that the second level of needs is security? Because employees first want the physiological needs, the basic needs, then they go to another word, security needs. So we're talking about the security in terms of job, financial security. Be job satisfied, because they know that irrespective of anything else, going home may not be very easy unless all the appeal mechanisms have been fully explored, so that you cannot just be sent home by any boss who wants to chase you home. There is a procedure that must be followed to ensure that employees go. So we think that this can do what? This can improve the employees' satisfaction. So you ensure that
Daktari, 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 umepotea? Hello members, sorry for the inconvenience as Daktari tries to reconnect again. So I'm trying to reach him. So kindly don't leave the meeting. Daktari,
No voice.
he is back, he is back. Dr. Mwaza?
Caroline, good evening.
Daktari, we are not hearing you.
Good evening. Good evening.
They chased me away.
Okay, the internet.
Caroline chased me away, so I went away and I've come back. Caroline, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Sorry. I think the Wi-Fi went, so I'm now hotspotting to make me continue. Sorry for that, all of us.
Okay, welcome.
I'm now back. I learned I was talking to myself, but we are here finally. So we were looking at the ways of ensuring maybe employee motivation. But of course, having said that, then let me share the screen again as we continue. So allow me continue. So thank you very much. So please ensure that your employees are very well motivated so that they can contribute probably to the success of the organization where you are working. And of course, I've mentioned a number of ways of motivating these employees. That is the financial bit of it, and also the non-financial bit of it. Of course, later, you'll be looking at those two concepts. Is financial motivation really sufficient, or there are those employees that may not require the financial aspect of it? So can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see the screen, but it's not in presentation mode.
Good, thank you. Now it's okay?
Yeah, it's okay now.
So that is it now, to ensure that the employees are motivated, and then you also build on the workplace culture, a culture where efforts are appreciated, a culture whereby promotion is based on performance, a culture whereby the monitoring of work is done very well. So in other words, I think that it involves the training, mentorship, leadership development programs to enhance the skills and the growth of the employees. So you should ensure that you encourage an inclusive work environment where employees from diverse backgrounds feel valued. Please do not leave anyone behind. Ensure that all kinds of employees' needs are taken care of, whether they are living with disabilities or not. Let's take care of all the employees in the workplace. But of course, we are saying that over time, the view of employees have shifted. And of course, you need now to recognize them as valuable assets to the organization rather than look at them as mere costs. So ensure that you value them, let them see you valuing them as an employer or as an HR. Because in some cases, we talk of the rights issue. For example, you can give employees even what we call the powers to hold shares, shares within the organization. So ensure that you find the best means you can be able to do what to retain them. So what are some of the objectives of the human resource management? I've mentioned many of them. And of course, one of them that I've mentioned is what we call attracting and retaining skilled employees, attracting and retaining what? Skilled employees. That as an HR expert, it is important that we attract and retain employees. That is, you are able to get the best talents, the best brains around, and then be able to keep them at work. So we're talking about the attraction and retention of the skilled employees. Number two, we're talking about enhancing employee productivity. That is to make them be able to achieve their potential, do their best to ensure that the firms or the organization's optimal level of maybe production is reached. Ensure legal compliance and ethical practice. That is to ensure that you follow the law. That is the laws that governs the relationship between the employer and the employee. That is the Employment Act, the Labor Relations Act, Labor Institutions Act, and many more. Of course, in a few minutes' time, we'll be able to look at them shortly, that you know what they're talking about now. And then lastly, we are talking about the foster a positive work culture, which of course I've mentioned a lot of times here. So the challenges in human resource management, the challenges in human resource management in various organizations, the challenges in human resource management today, of course. We are talking about the issue of doing what? Managing workforce diversity. Like we have said that we have workers who come from diverse backgrounds with diverse behaviors. So the question is, how do you make them to operate as a team with the rest of the workers? So we need to ensure that we overcome this challenge by ensuring that we manage diversity within our institutions very effectively. For example, you know, you go to these offices whereby people speak in mother tongue. Is it happening in your places, for example?
Yes.
Is it happening in your places?
Yes.
Please, wewe usifanye hivyo, sawa sawa. Irene, Caroline,
Yeah, it does. It does
please
happen.
don't do that in the workplace, sawa sawa.
Sure.
Because workplace brings people from different backgrounds, from diverse backgrounds, and therefore, because they're not from one culture, one tribe, or one ethnic group or language-speaking people, it is important that the relationship remains professional. That means that you see, I can see Monica is saying it really irritates. Of course, personally, I believe so. Really irritating that you go to workplace, a national organization, international organization, then some two people think that they should be speaking their mother tongue. You know, you wonder. You can keep mother tongue up to 5 p.m. and speak it outside the working environment. So please, can we promote workplace diversity management? If you are the boss, for example, please never speak in mother tongue when in the workplace. Speak that when you leave the workplace or maybe elsewhere. You know, there are these boards, there is management where you go and 80% speak the same language, so you wonder they can do a meeting in mother tongue. That's not the best one so far. Manage workplace diversity. Once you have one or more from different backgrounds, please ensure that you take care of the people who have challenges, the minority, the majority. All of them needs to be taken care of. I can see a lot of discussions here. Maybe I can hear from you. How do you feel when people speak mother tongue in your places? Njoroge, very common in your places, yes.
Yes, please.
How do you feel?
It's actually very, as my colleague says, very irritating. Because you're trying to work with a group, then you feel like you are left out. You don't know exactly what is going on. I have been a victim several times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lastly, who's making a comment on the same? Anyone making a comment on that, please?
What I can say. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
We have a certain group, or rather we can say a certain tribe that we have at our workplace. They just keep on talking their mother tongue. So you're like, why are you doing this? And then they're like, si hapa tuko tu ikabila. You're wondering, you're like, we are at workplace. You're supposed to use either English or Swahili so that any other person can understand. Some have improved, but others, I think they're just stuck in that zone.
Can I hear you well? Is it okay with you? Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Doctor.
Yes, we can
Oh,
hear
very
you.
good. Thank you very much for that.
We can hear you.
But then did I say my name? So thank you very much. I hope now you can hear him better. Just hoping so. So I was saying that, yeah, I think that's now better now for me. So I was just saying that please, let's promote what so you feel isolated and left out. Thank you. Very common. But of course, now having in this class, please, we can avoid some of these things here because we are a whole team, a single team, and what brings us together is the work. And so we can also have a common language where we can speak so that everyone feels involved. Adopting to technological advances, of course, these are challenges today because where there are no clear ways of measuring output. More so, I don't know which generation you are, but of course, in some generations, they can spend the whole day on their phones just watching TikTok. You wonder, why did they come to work if they were to watch TikTok? Well, they could watch the TikTok at home. Why do you come to work? Thank you very much, Irene, for that. Oh, so Gen Z, Monica, Gen Z. Thank you. Thank you very much. So majority of us today really take a lot of time on their phones, on technological issues. Please, we can be able to circumvent this and see ways of doing what helping the human resource itself perform better. But of course, I'm also saying that there are also places whereby technology is replacing human beings. Those could be challenges that are there now, and therefore you may not have the chance to motivate technology, for example. So these are challenges that come from time to time. Retaining top talents, that is the people who always come and live, because they're demanded everywhere. So we talk of poaching happening, head hunting happening, and eventually retaining these people may become very difficult because they keep on changing from job to job. That is a big challenge that currently occurs also in our workplaces. Then also we are talking about addressing work-life balance issues. And I think you have good terms for this one here, including what you call the mental health issues. That is, people tend not to know how to balance work and life. I think one of the things that people learn is that work will always continue even when you are not there. However important you are. So please, once you leave work, find a way of not engaging so much at work, past working hours. Balance your work. Also have the other side of your life, the social life, very key for you. So please balance your life so that there's a work-life balance, even as you work in your different work organizations now. Like now, Ikifika 5 go class. That's now living now your own life. You're doing something else. Please ensure that you do this. So basically, in this introduction here, my main focus is just introducing into the concept of HRM and also probably the legal framework that governs the leaders in ensuring that you comply with the various human resource laws and regulations. So we are saying that human resource basically follows what we call the policies that have been established to ensure that as you manage human resources, you remain consistent, you remain fair, and also you remain compliant with the legal and the operational standards so that you can foster a structured and transparent work environment in your workplace. So the policies we are talking about here will ensure that we create a structured, transparent framework that aligns employee performance with the goals of the organization, that we align those for the good of the what, so that we ensure that the institution achieves its goals. And maybe just a question, we can be able to answer this. Please identify some of the key legislations that governs human resource management in Kenya. Please briefly. You can chat or you can just speak. Identify some of the key legislation that governs human resource management in Kenya. You can put the answers in the chat box or you can talk. Who is talking? Who is chatting? Let me see chat box. No, nothing is coming. Please, let's think around them and share the answers. In the next 3 minutes, I'm just waiting for you. Who can unmute and talk, please go ahead and unmute and talk, or you can chat the answers in the chat box. Thank
Try.
you. I can see the first one. Go ahead.
I can try.
Try.
Maybe this is where we can relate things like getting employees getting overtime. Maybe overtimes are compensated.
Very good. Anyone else? TSC Code of Regulation, that's for teachers, that's okay. Any other? One more, then we can go.
The Employment Act.
Employment Act, thank you very much. Very good. So I think that's a good trial. Out of the 9, we are 30%. And that is a significant number that we can continue now then. So one of the major legislations, of course, all the laws in the country draws from the constitution of the country. And of course, when you look at the constitution of Kenya, we are talking about the right of the employees, the right of citizens, whether employees or not. And we are saying that the constitution guarantees the Kenyans some rights that they need to be granted. And of course, one of the rights is the right to equality and freedom from discrimination. That is, as much as you are employing, ensure that you don't discriminate against any employee because of any reason, whether they are from your ethnic community or they are not from there, whether they speak the same language as you, or they are tall or short or of different gender. Ensure that every person, every employee gets equal treatment in terms of employment, in terms of the working conditions, in terms of all that. Number 2 is the right to human dignity, that we are dignified. We have the right to human dignity, the right to privacy. And of course, this can even bring the issues of what the confidentiality of the employment contracts, etc., privacy, the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech, that you can talk freely, and of course, even the freedom to do what, to assemble, and even picket, and even to demonstrate. All those are within our rights. So we are saying that the Constitution, being the supreme law of the country, governs the human resource management in terms of the rights that it grants every citizen, so that as an employee or employer, these rights must be granted to every citizen to ensure that there are fair labor practices within the country. So we talk about the fair labor practices, within the country. That is part E of it. That is the Constitution grants us the right to, or gives the employees in Section 41 about the fair labor practices. And this may include things like what? The reasonable working hours. This may come clearly now in the Employment Act, because as you will be able to know, is that an employee should not work for more than 8 hours per day. And just in case that he works more than 8 hours per day, then in a week, it should not exceed 40 plus 5 maximum. it should not exceed 45 hours per week. That means that, for example, if you work as a doctor, for example, at night is like double the number of working hours. That is 12 times 2 is 24 hours. That means that you only work 2 days, two days in a week, and the rest you rest, because it is 2 times the normal working hours. We are talking about the fair labor practices. We're talking about allowing employees to participate in what we call trade union, join or participate in the trade union activities and programs. That is, they are free to be members of trade unions, and therefore, Irene, go ahead.
The hours you're talking about mainly, I think they vary, because like in hospitality, we don't work for those. It's more hours.
How long do you work?
In a week, you'll do 52.
That's against the labor laws in this country.
Uh,
I agree with
that's what
you.
we do.
Is that like the security guards who work for 6, 7 days? How many for 12 hours? How many hours? 84 hours, Sylvia.
As we do 52.
But some security guards, hizi
Soldiers,
makampuni. Soldiers, yes. How long do they work? 7 days per week? 12 hours per week,
I'm
Sylvia.
not so sure.
About 84 hours per week. But if you look at the employment contract, inasema kwamba unafanya kazi 45 hours maximum. Please, you should not be working for more than 40, 45 hours per week. That's the simplest law in this country. Working hours remains at 8 hours times 5 days plus 5 hours on Saturday or Sunday maximum. Full stop. And if you work on Sunday, Sunday is treated to be like a public holiday or like a night time. So that should be times 2. If you work for 8 hours, that should be like 16 hours per day. That should be the case. Irene, are you getting me?
I'm getting you.
Irene, hey.
Yes.
That is where we are as a country. But now I know on the ground things are different. And when we put HR in the future, please be fair to employees. You can't keep somebody for more than 45 hours working hours per week. No, that is too much.
What if that calls for my my sacking?
I know that there have been threats and dangers with that, but I'm telling you, Yakwamba, when you become an employer, please, let's follow the level. That is 45 hours per week.
Okay.
They have their rights. Kila mtu ana rights zake wa hii dunia. 40 hours, that is 8 hours per day. And of course, 8 hours with 1 hour lunch. See, 8 hours bila lunch. Lazima kuwa lunch. Sio 10 bila break.
On the ground.
We are aware of that. Hii ni 10 with break. Sio 10 bila break. Irene, umesikia hiyo?
Yeah, I'm getting you. Okay.
1 hour break, lunch hour break must be given. That is why in very good organizations.
Okay. Let me
Go
just
ahead.
give a brief then. So
Yes.
like when I was coming for interview in the company now that I'm currently in, so I was like, okay, what are your terms like? Do you have like lunch break? So we were like, yes, you have that 1 hour. That was it. Like the boss, my boss is the one who interviewed me. So he was like, yes, you have 1 hour break, which until current I've been working for now, this will be the 3rd year going. I've never taken that 1 hour break. So like you're told 1 hour break, but in between, when it's that busy, you can have a 40-minute break, which doesn't always happen. You can't get that when you're in this industry.
No, not industry. The issue is the people, not the industry.
Okay.
Umefanya kazi kwa 5-star hotel?
No, not really. No.
But have you heard how they work?
Yeah, those ones are
strictly 8 hours.
Yes.
Strictly 8 hours. That's the point so far. And of course, number 2 is that I can see somebody saying that theirs is 40 hours per week. That's a good one. You know, there are also things at work, because hata wewe ukipewa 1 hour utaki kwenda because ukitoka kazi itasimama.
Yeah.
You feel like you are so important that you can't even go for lunch for yourself. Please balance life. Lunch ikifika and lunch rudi. Are you getting me? And then during the working hours, uko kwa simu the whole day pia. So when do you work then? Hatuna good work ethics as a country anyway, which you can improve on so far. The phone call should only be for work, not anything less than work for the 8 hours. I'll give an example. I had a colleague a few years ago, and he was in senior management. So I used to like him because ataingia kwa office at 6 a.m., but you can never access the office before 8. Anakwambia kama no time ijafika, ngoja hapo mpaka 8 ifike. Hata kuhudumia anafanya mambo yake. Ikifika 8, doesn't pick any call which is not for the employer. It picks only calls for the employment work. So 8 to 1. Hata kama ni meeting ya CEO anawaambia, excuse me guys, I'm going for lunch. Time for my lunch. Another lunch 1 to 2. He leaves the meeting and goes like that. Comes back a minute to 2, begins.
Members, I think the facilitators some challenges with the connections. So can you remain calm as we sort of. Yes, Daktari, we can hear you.
Victor is in the vehicle. He can switch off his video. Victor.
Yes, Daktari, I can hear you.
Zima video bwana. Zima video bwana kama kwa gari. Hiyo ni dhambi kwanza, fanya kwa gari.
Okay, sawa. Nimeona ni kitu ya baba ninasikia kila kitu.
Toa video.
Okay.
Also mute, sawa. Thank you. Irene, are you getting me very well?
Loud and clear.
That's okay. Working hours are 8 for 5 days plus half the maximum. So most people should be, if you look at the international NGOs and organizations, for example, they do 35 hours per week. Victor, saw a video, brother. Saw a video, Victor. So that is the point now. So we're looking at basically 35 hours in most organizations. If not, they do 40 maximum. So that is we are. So we continue, please.
Daktari. Daktari. Daktari, you keep on losing.
Yeah, I think network now inanisumbua. You don't. I'm not in Kenya. I'm in Turkana.
Okay.
Irene, Sam.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, it fluctuates sometimes. I'm in
hear you.
Turkana somewhere.
Okay.
Bernard is working on Wi-Fi, so it's at least supporting very well. Thank you very much for that. So the Labor Relations Act, of course, that has also been very key in governing the employment relationship in the country, because it laid the legal foundation for the collective bargaining agreements and labor relations in the country. And of course, you had mentioned about the tripartite party, the party consisting of the employer, employee, and the trade union. You know, those are the tripartite parties, so that it encourages that those three parties engages in a way that promotes good relationship, that promotes working in good faith. This position, the employer, employee, so it's the employer, employee, and the national community, yes. The employer, employee through the trade union, and then the formerly called the industrial court. That is what we used to have in the past. Then we have got the Employment Act. And of course, we're talking about casual workers cannot remain in casual employment for more than 30 consecutive days. That means now there should be confirmed. We're talking about prohibiting workplace discrimination on grounds of maybe so far. We are talking about the rights of the employees, right to final remuneration, right to maternity leave of 3 months, right to leave of 2 weeks, the right to fair remuneration. All those comes around what the issues of what of the Employment Act. It grants the employees various acts and also puts on the employees and the employers some duties that they should be perform, including the duty of care, to take care of each other's what property. That is part of the what, part of the duties that the parties have in employment contracts. This is provision on when you can do what, terminate a contract of employment. We're talking about termination maybe on the grounds of redundancy, on the grounds of resignation, on the grounds of maybe being dismissed in the case of death. So in this case, the reasons as to why an employee can be declared redundant, the employee can be dismissed, the employee can do what, can resign. That is when an employment contract can be ended. And of course, like I'm telling you now, is that once you resign from employment, you don't require the approval of the employer. Once you resign, you have resigned, and you just go home when you have served the notice period. Or you can choose to pay the employer. You don't need to wait to be released. No, the notice is sufficient as far as the law is concerned, because you have to just resign and then go away. The same way, when the employer or somebody dismisses you, that becomes effective. So when huwezi kataa kufanya wenyewe, you serve the notice period and then you go back to where you came from. So you're saying that an employment contract can be terminated when the employee resigns, and the employer declares the employee redundant, when that occurs, somebody dismissed. For example, we should look at under what circumstances can an employee be somebody dismissed when you miss work for a consecutive number of days without authority of the employer, when you become intoxicated during the working hours, when the employee uses the abusive languages, when the employee is becoming unruly. In that case, or maybe you have the issue of what gross misconduct. In that case, the employer just something. But of course, the best way is that we should be issued, and of course we can have warning 1, 2. That is the warning, written warning 1 or 2 or 3, and then you have to make dismiss. So there should be an evidence that you have tried to support the employee, but it's not working so far for you. So that is what we are talking about here. I can see chat coming in. Your voice is distorted. Thank you. On my side, I'm failing to hear you. The voice is not clear and consistent, please. Monica, can you now hear me well?
Some words are clear, but others are not clear.
Sometimes I'm not clear sometimes.
Yeah, inakatika katika. I don't know.
Sorry. Kwani network yanatokana imejam. Sorry for that. Yeah, so we just talked about the grounds for termination of employment contract. And I've mentioned 3 grounds. 1, redundancy. 2 is salary dismissal. And number 3, we're talking about the resignation of the employee. That is the rights of that is the case when an employment contract can be terminated. And the employment also provides that within 60 days, since an employee receives letter of maybe appointment, sorry, before the employee was hired, they need to give him what we call the written statement of particulars. That is, let's say, like a contract showing should be working, how long should be working, what is the remuneration, benefits which are there, and so on and so forth. So this should be very clear at the time of the employee. So that is briefly including the Work Injury Benefits Act, the WIBA, which provides for payment of injury benefits depending on the severity and the length of the disability, because it recognizes what you call the total disability, partial disability, depending on the nature of the injury. What is the injury you are suffering when you are at work? And the question is, when is the employee at work? So there should be a relationship between the two. So that is an injury when at work, or when you are not at work. The OSHA is seeking to secure the safety and the health of workers in all workplaces. And we talk about the promotion of a safe culture in workplaces. We talk about the safety drills. We're talking about the health working conditions. We are talking about the provision of clean drinking water, the provision of security accommodation for the provision of vertical development, and so on and so forth. So we're saying that workplace safety, by encouraging institutions set up achievable safety targets from the joint health and safety committees and conducting annual audits. You can audit to ensure that the workplace remains safe for the employees. Please promote that, including when you have some dangerous liquids, dangerous maybe wires. Please, it is important that such places are well fenced, they are well protected, so that they are even labeled that this place should be out of for the employees to ensure their own safety and ensure their own security while at the workplace, to avoid getting injured in the workplace. So, human resource, therefore, is not only about managing personnel, but also about ensuring that we comply with the relevant labor laws and regulations, so that wherever we are working, our institutions, our organizations can promote fairness and equity. And this is only possible because we follow the laws and regulations, because the laws makes everything equal to everyone. So we're saying that the labor laws here promote fairness by ensuring that all employees are treated in the same way, that all employees have access to the available opportunities, that we ensure the safety at the workplace. That is the legal framework that will help create an environment that will prioritize the employee health and safety, and also minimizing risks, the risk of being injured, the risk of employees fighting, the risk of losing job. That is, we're talking about the issue of doing what? Ensuring the safety, and also fostering trust. Because when you realize that an employer is overworking, for example, you start losing confidence in that employer. you start losing confidence and faith in the employer. And therefore, this help us in building employee confidence, because when an employer follows or commits to observe the rights and the rights of the employees, then the employees ends up trusting that employer. And sometimes we remain in the same job because the employer is really trustworthy, supporting the growth of the organization. I think that by aligning with the laws, then the human resource practices will help in the promotion of a stable and ethical workplace, which will be able to contribute effectively to the long-term growth of the organization. And lastly, we're looking at safeguarding the welfare of the employees. It helps in the safeguard of the employees' welfare. So we are saying that by following the laws, we will be able to safeguard the welfare, the well-being of the employees, so that the employees feel always protected in the workplace. They feel that they are safe. They feel that they are valued. They feel that they are highly regarded. So that is where we are today. Any questions for me before I make the summary as we wind up? Questions for me, please go ahead. Following any order. Any questions for me, please?
Yes, I have one.
Go ahead.
Okay, like in the Employment Act,
Uh-huh.
though you are not that audible, we couldn't hear you. In case an employee's contract is being terminated, after how many warnings is the employee supposed to be like contract terminated officially? After 2 or 3?
Right.
Pardon?
All zero warning, is that right?
I'm saying now let me just use like an
we
example.
can have 1, 2, 3 warnings, Silvio.
Yes.
I'm doing all zero.
Oh, even 0?
Yes.
Okay.
Depending on the nature.
What's in the case? Oh yeah, what is in the case of this 0? What could be the case of this 0?
Gross misconduct.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
And in terms of gross misconduct, it's defined by the position, for example. Now look at it for the position. The position often pay Kenya shillings. Why should you keep people warning you first? How do you keep it safe at the workplace? For example, are you getting married?
Yes, but not that clear.
Finding what's happening with my network. I'm outspoken now, should be very strong.
There's some
Very sorry for that.
echo.
Oh, there's some echo. Hello? Is there echo?
Hello? Yes.
Is there echo?
Background. Like there's kind of echo. Yes.
Is it still there? Irene, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but like there's some echo. I don't know if the rest are hearing that too.
That's unfortunate now for me.
I don't know if you've moved. When we started, you're very clear. We didn't have any difficulty. Did you move from where you were?
I'm in the same place, same spot.
Better now.
It's now better.
Yes.
Now I think it's the echo from fun around here. I think so. Hey. Go ahead.
Not there is still an echo. It's not clear on my side.
So now what do I now do here? And there,
Hello.
uh,
Not yet. It is still.
earlier,
Your
earlier was
voice
very
is not
okay.
clear.
Sam,
Yes, Doctor.
I'm using the headphone. What's the problem? Because I should be able to be clearer than this.
I think is your internet. That is the speed.
The internet,
So
or then that's all.
the issue is not you. I think it's the unique coverage of the NINI network around here where you are.
But earlier was very okay.
But yeah, actually you were okay, very much clear. But now your sound is somehow distorted.
That is funny. Sorry for that. Sorry. Sorry.
But it,
But it's okay.
that time it is clear, that times you are not clear. So I don't know. That maybe is a network issue.
Sorry for that. Let me just try the answer is not. No, it's
Don't
not
know
yet
even
back.
the
Let me-
training or what. Hello, Dr.
Sam, can you hear me now better?
Can you speak? Can you concurrent speak so that we can test your meaning?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now you are okay.
I'm not okay.
You are not okay. Remain at
Okay,
that
thank you
level.
very much.
Very good.
Yeah, is the Wi-Fi and hotspot changing? It's okay now. So I think that's okay. It can be 3 times and 1 time, but of course, if the matter is not very major, it's not gross per se, then you can always issue the first oral warning, first written warning, first oral warning, first written warning, second oral warning, then I will dismiss. If the employer does not change. But in some cases, those cannot please, it is instant, it's salary dismissal. Of course, in the other case, you have the right to be heard. So you can always request to be heard so that we can hear your part of the story. Thank you very much. Any other question, please? Any other question, please? For instance, you're not talking now. Can you talk? Caroline? Any other question, please? Irene? Joroge? Monica? Or Victor?
For me, there's no question. I'm just
Yes.
about pursuing. There's something that which has been disturbing for some time, but I've gotten the answer today. Yeah.
What is it? We can learn something from you. Victor, can we learn from you? What is it about?
There's something I've heard about the safety part of it.
Oh,
It's
very
about
good.
the
Yeah.
child to be very safety as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So from me, sometimes I need only for the safety person to be in charge of safety. But now I've seen from the Dodge Act and the labor laws, it gives the chairman day to be knowing that
Yes.
a lot of safety is there.
Yes, that is true.
That's what I've
Thank you.
got
Thank you
today.
very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So there is the duty of the employer. So if the employer is the HR, then let him ensure that those things are there to ensure that the safety of the employees and property is ensured in the workplace. That is what we are saying so far. But over and above that, please let's also read this act here. These acts are for us to go through them and know what they require us to do. So that just in case you are facing an issue with unfair labor practices, unfair dismissal, then unfair situation, please, you can always intervene like when you're being disciplined, your boss must be there. You can't show that your English professor is there so that it can be a witness in that case. And of course, you can even go with another fellow employee. Imekubalika, hiyo ni sheria ya Kenya. Wewe kama tuko na mashirika to be a witness. Those are within the labor laws of this country, so that you ensure that the process is very fair and the laws are upheld at all the instances. Thank you very much all. I really appreciate you. Sam, kuna kitu nataka kusema kabla sijamaliza? So I want to end there.
No, I'm okay, Daktari, but I would like to remind the participants that still the same notes, we shall have them on the Kemi Learning Hub app, that is our virtual canvas. So don't worry so much about that. You shall revisit the notes again in our Kemi virtual canvas as you attend to the activities. Thank you, Joroke. Thank you, Daktari.
Yeah, so all the best, colleagues. We'll meet next time. Louis, I think Jen left, but she was part of us today. Thank you very much. And Louis is part of us, Mugambi, and me, Omanza Charles, for today. God bless you all and have a good evening.
Maybe
Thank
someone
you so
to close the
much.
session with a word of prayer. A volunteer. A volunteer. To close the meeting with a word of prayer, kindly. Eileen,
Yes,
can you close the meeting with a word of prayer?
sure. Gracious and Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening. Lord, we thank you for the session that we've had with our fellow colleagues. We ask you, Lord Jehovah, to help us. Let us understand each and everything that is being taught, that, Lord, we may be able to improve in our workplaces. We worship you, exalt your name, O Lord Jehovah. Lord, even when we are going at our homes, and even for those who've arrived home safely, Lord, we thank you for that. Worship you and we exalt your name. For this we pray, trusting and believing in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Amen.
And have a wonderful night.
Night too.